We know that homelessness is a long-standing issue in Toronto, but we rarely hear directly from the people who experience it. That's why the Green Line team spent the day with one man who told us about his time being homeless here, including what life was like for him and how he finally found housing. This is where Olivier Musafiri's journey to find permanent housing began, over 10 years ago.
I started that process with this office that you see here. I know it under the name of Housing Connections. So they were able to help me find subsidized housing here in the downtown core.
Musafiri began receiving a rent-geared-to-income subsidy from the City of Toronto in the fall of 2020. With it, 30% of his monthly income goes to rent, and the subsidy covers the rest. But Musafiri had to wait nearly a decade for it. Currently, the average wait time for a bachelor's apartment like his is 10 years. So until 2020, Musafiri was homeless. But when he first sought temporary shelter in Toronto in 2009, he says it was easier to find help compared to now.
I call it the golden age of homelessness in Toronto because I could arrive through the Greyhound station at Bay and Dundas and maybe sleep somewhere at a friend's place or book into a backpacker's hostel with whatever little dollars I have. And the next day, I'm not worried. I come at Salvation Army here, and they got a bed for me. It was not a worry. There was no stress.
But when Musafiri returned to Toronto in 2019, things were different. The Salvation Army location he stayed at near McCollin College had closed.
It became hard to find a place. You have to call at Central Intake. So now you call them, and they say, no, we got nothing. Call again in 1 hour. Call again in 1 hour. Call again in an hour. You get nothing the whole day.
So Musafiri began staying at Scott Mission, which was based near College and Spadina at the time. It's since moved down the street and now operates 24 hours a day instead of nights only. But staff say they're still at capacity.
Our shelter is full every night. All 66 beds are filled every single night, and there's a huge demand in the city for emergency housing and for permanent housing, and we see that increasing more and more.
Certainly before things were more transitory, we had more movement within our shelter itself. Even though we were full, we were able to maintain waiting lists and that kind of stuff. Now, people are reticent to move. They stay in place.
But sometimes Musafiri wanted a break from the shelter system. In those moments, he'd go to a public library or the University of Toronto's Bayon Centre.
To me, this was a secret spot. It's a spot I would come knowing that I'm not going to meet any homeless anything. Coming here, I felt I had a chance to feel like a part of the general population.
Today, Musafiri no longer has to worry about where he'll sleep each night. His downtown apartment is subsidized and stable. But although he's no longer houseless, he still doesn't feel at home.
For now, I have a shelter, a roof over my head, which is not nothing. It's a lot. But I'm still waiting to get an actual home, you know.
Signing off, I'm Anita Lee of the Green Line reporting with City News.